Range terminology to know. I kind of wrote down some range terminology that you would possibly hear on different ranges. Um, I think it'll be beneficial and help and check. Let's see what I got here.
Range is cold.
Yep, range is cold. What does that mean, Chuck?
Range is cold means that we have some kind of circumstance going on. We need to figure out what the hell is going on. Everybody put their firearm down, drop the magazine, make sure it's not around in the chamber, breech side up, and step away from the bay. Meaning that, all right, clear, right?
Clear.
Range is cold, so we consider this is downrange, right? The command is called range is cold. I want to drop the magazine. Let's put the magazine in there. I want to drop the magazine. Make sure no round is in the chamber.
Leave it.
Slide lock back to the rear.
Lock back to the rear.
Breech side up so the range safety officer can look in there because we don't want to touch the gun at this point. Make sure the breech side is up. There's no round in the chamber. Pointing down range, and we want to back away from the range. When we call cold range, this is what we want you to do.
Generally, cold range is normally called when something downrange is affected, like a
Correct.
carrier,
Correct.
or which is the mechanism that runs the targets out.
Or it could be a
firearm.
Or it could be an accident. Somebody potentially shot themselves or something happened.
Right.
Anything can happen when we call cold range. That means you are to drop that firearm and back away from the range.
Back away from the
because
range.
even if somebody got to go down the range to correct the issue, a target fell, a hanger fell. If one of the colleagues got to go down, that we don't want you standing by the range. We don't want a round in the chamber where it could potentially go off that you don't know was a squib load in there. So we just want the firearm clear and safe and pointed down range.
Exactly. Clear, which he said that clear the firearm means range is physically clear of any potential safety issues and no one is downrange, right? So range is clear, right? Cold range.
Cold range.
And then range is clear, okay? So that means after, we use it in long range, right? Because one of us or me and Chuck or Chuck would go down to replace targets.
Correct.
So range is cold is the call. Everybody comes off. When we're long range, bolt action comes open. Everybody sees everybody's bolt is 60 to 90 degrees, whatever you got to throw, and it's back and open. Nobody is at the base. Everybody backs up, and then we take targets down. Right, soon as we return back,
Range is hot.
range is hot. Okay, well, range is clear because we're out of there, and then range is hot once we're clear. Or some people like us, we just
straight
cut
to range
range
is
is
hot.
hot,
Yeah,
right?
range is
Because
hot.
the person who goes and does it is the one who calls range is hot, generally.
Correct.
Right? Because they're the one that went and turns the target. They're back. Their voice is known and recognizable.
And when we say range is cold, that don't mean you did everything right now, right? The magazine is out, the slide lock back to the rear, and you're standing in your bay. No, you back up to the nearest wall. You get out the bay, right? We don't, because at that moment, if somebody's downrange, if you stand in the bay, anybody could just grab a firearm, grab a magazine, load it, and start firing, right? We doing this for maximum safety. So that means you out after your firearm is clear, back out the bay.
I just wanted to put some cool shit up real quick.
I was about to say, what the hell? What we got going on, yeah?
Oh no, it's just practice and stuff. We talked about dry fire last one, and this is the Manus Blackbeard system in the AR, which has the laser tube, right? Which is a dry fire practice for rifles, just like we had done the Pink Rhino for the pistols.
Can I show them this cool shit?
Yeah. So also, what we also do is during firearm instruction, some ladies for the most part, aren't too keen to the sound of rounds going off around them. So what we have here is a recoil activated laser firearm for dry fire training, right? It's specifically designed to get young kids, females, males, to get used to the recoil of the gun. So Chuck will demonstrate that it actually has recoil and.
Can we get a second to? I'm not the reload on me, bro. Like y'all, you wouldn't want to fuck with me when it comes to this reload shit.
Right, so you see that it's recoil activated, so you can get used to the trigger pull. It actually has a great trigger pull.
Phenomenal.
Right, for the gun, it's a full-on replica of a CZ Shadow 2, but it has an IR laser that we use dry fire and laser training, laser ammo. I normally run that for families and come to the home when doing mobile instruction for those who aren't ready for the range yet. There are some people who aren't ready for the range yet.
That's a fact.
Right?
That's
So this is a great tool. to help them. It's got short throw cameras that go into a projector, and it's actually interactive with the pistol and the laser. Downrange, right? You heard Chuck say earlier, downrange. Downrange is just the end of the backstop where the material is that stops the bullets, okay? Real quick, while we're talking downrange, there are certain types of ammunition that you can't bring to most ranges or almost all ranges, which is buckshot, birdshot, green tip 5.56 ammunition, and certain calibers above.
Well, you skip right over the most important ones. Incendiary rounds.
Oh yeah, that too. Tracer rounds, incendiary rounds,
Dragon breath.
dragon breath rounds. So here's what happens: most backstops at ranges are made out of like cut up recycled rubber, tire, different things like that, and they melt and they get hot. And once tires get burning, they're hard to fucking put.
First
out.
of all, you shouldn't be shooting a fucking incendiary round in the
Indoor.
indoor range. Period. Oh shit, outdoor ranges burn down as well, but you damn sure shouldn't be shooting it at a 25-yard because most ranges indoors 25 yards.
Right.
You shouldn't be shooting an incendiary round in a 25-yard range. You're a fucking idiot if you're doing so.
Yep. So downrange is always down range, okay, away from you. They don't really have anything called uprange or anything like that. No. It's just downrange is down away from you. The firing lane, okay? So just like Chuck alluded to earlier, you don't want to be in Bay 3 shooting at targets in Bay 2. Bay 3, your firing lane is an infinity lane from the walls on each side all the way down to the backstop downrange. Right.
Which is typically 25 yards.
Which is typically 25 yards. There are some ranges that are 50 and 100. You can find them out there, or you're outdoors, okay? So firing lane is the bay walls straight out in front of you, lane, okay? Just like you're driving in a car. Don't make it fucking...
What's that saying? They be saying, stay in your lane? No.
Stay in your lane?
Stay in your lane?
Yeah.
From Wildin' Out. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Yeah, right. So make sure you're staying in your lane and shooting. If you shoot a paper target... Here, let me get in close. If you shoot a paper target... and you hear a ding,
Jesus,
you missed the paper target and you hit some metal, most likely the carrier or the ceiling, right?
Well, potentially could ricochet.
Right. So, and that's what we're getting to is ricochets, right? So let me get on a close up on Chuck. How do you feel about ricochets, Chuck?
You can get a bang out of life with a ricochet.
So ricochets are not good. Okay, that's why they don't let you draw out a holster in most ranges because there's concrete floor below you, and that bullet will ricochet off that concrete or a piece of concrete fly out and hurt somebody and cut them too. So from it, but most of the time the bullet's going to ricochet off that concrete. So firing lane is basically straight down there, parallel lines, straight down ahead of you, which way you're looking. The firing line, Chuck, would you explain what the firing line is?
At the bay?
Yep.
All right. The firing line is at the bay where you load your firearm, where you put your firearm down, make sure everything is loaded, magazine out, firearm pointing down range.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
So everybody, you won't find bays that are staggered or anything like that. Everybody be in a straight line across from each other, and that way nobody's at a different advantage or could potentially.
You fucking threw me for a loop just now. I was thinking about some other shit when you asked me that, so that's why
I know.
Carry on.
That's why we got each other back, man. You find that out real quick. You already explained it. Hot range.
Yeah.
Right. Hot range means there's fucking lead coming down the goddamn range.
Yeah.
Okay.
People shooting.
You don't want to get in front of that.
Yeah.
All right. Period. Hot range means there's hot shit coming down the range.
Meaning that if you're on lane number 4, you push your target out, your target fell, or you go to the range safety officer, or you call code range. Code range means that your target fell. Now everybody's aware that range is cold, and you go to everybody individually and let them know range is cold. Range is cold. Nobody should be at the bay at this moment. So now the RSO, normally it's an RSO that's going to go down and get the target. It's not going to be the individual who's shooting that bay number 4.
Yeah, not at all.
Normally it's going to be the RSO or one of the employees. So, but it's on you to make sure you understand range is cold. Everybody understand this because we got to remember now, under people shooting now, right?
Yeah.
So you might be in lane number 1, lane number 11, you might say range is cold. Lane, he didn't hear you.
I think that brings up the importance of what we said earlier, the electronic ear pro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bro, fucking listen. If you're gonna spend money, I'm gonna tell you the way we come up is 3 things. It's trigger, bolt carrier, and barrel. Those are it for rifles, and then it's gonna be trigger, barrel, and sight for the pistols. But when it comes to actually being on the range, is you really understanding that this shit is serious.
And this is why we don't allow you to be listening to fucking Jay-Z, shout out to my favorite rapper,
Right.
while you shooting, because you might not hear a command.
Right. So this shit is serious enough that I think you want to hear
Correct.
what's going on. With the passive, you can't. It's kind of muffled. You can hear some, but if it's not close, it's muffled to you. So with the electric, if somebody's talking some dumb shit 3 bays away, you can hear it. With
Correct,
the electric,
absolutely.
And you're able to immediately say, "Hey, that's wrong. Don't do that," or
Right.
"Hey, go get the RSO."
It's almost like giving you superhuman
Power.
superhuman strength,
Yeah.
because you can hear far away with those
Yeah.
electronics.
Yeah. So the difference in money is like $30 for passive, but maybe $79, $80, $100 for the.
You know
electric.
my favorite line. What is your life worth?
Yeah, what is your life worth? An extra $60, I think it's worth hearing and being able to understand.
Cool.
Let's go.
So I watch a lot of YouTubers say, "Hey, I don't like carrying staccatos, or I don't like carrying certain guns because they're worth a little bit, right?" So let's just say you got a staccato XL that's worth $3,700.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to carry it because I wouldn't want to lose it in evidence locker if I had to use it. That might be the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My preference. If I want every advantage, if I need my firearm at that moment, I need every advantage that I could possibly have. I'd rather have my life than lose $3,700 every time. You could take the fucking firearm. I could buy another Staccato XL. I can't buy another life. So we got to be practical about a lot of this shit, right? So when we say Air Pro and you say how much is Air Pro and we say $54, look, it's going to help you, right? If we say, hey, these glasses are better for you, it's going to help you, right? I'm not trying to sell you something for the sake of being a salesman. I'm trying to help you. And this is what the podcast is about. We're trying to educate people, right? So this is why we feel so adamant about this shit. Thank
All
you.
right. You got it. No problem. I think one last thing, we got a little bit of time, is maintenance to your gun in the bay. I think cleaning the, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
kind of in the bay.
No. That's a no.
That's a no-no, right?
You're not gonna come here with a cleaning kit because you got to understand a lot of this shit is combustible,
Right.
flammable,
Right.
and you got people firing. You're not in the bay by yourself, right? I mean,
Right.
you're not in range by yourself. You have people in different lanes, right? So cleaning them, if you brushing or wiping down, that's one thing, right? But cleaning, I'm talking about breaking out a CLP and no.
Yeah.
You do that when you get home.
Yeah. Or if you have an issue, I think too is I think an important thing to do or to bring up is if there is an issue of your gun misfiring or not firing around or whatever like that, don't keep pulling the trigger and racking it. Rack it a few times. If it won't eject and you see the case is in there, the casing is in there, put it down. Get the range safety officer, right? Because they'll know how to make sure it's in slide lock, drop the magazine, and have some type of something that can pop the bullet back out of there. Right?
Correct.
But I think that comes up to knowing the difference between, I think, a bullet and the parts and components.
Yeah,
of the bullet,
absolutely.
right.
But
So if somebody comes to Chuck and says, "Hey, there's something going on. The bullet is stuck in the chamber or stuck in the gun," right? When you say bullet, he assumes it's a live round immediately. And that it is. Now, if you know the determination of casing, meaning the bullet fired.
But I'm still going to ask a lot of questions. So
Right.
if you come to me and say, hey, something wrong with my gun, I pulled the trigger, nothing happened, yada, yada, I'm still going to ask, did the projectile, like I'm going to ask you, did the explosion happen before I get downstairs so I know what I'm facing anyway, right? The smart ones will do that, right? But, yeah, you have to know what the hell is going on.
Because you have light primer strikes, you have things that happen where it won't let the projectile leave the casing.
Squib loads, which is the worst.
Yeah, which is the worst because you don't know if they'll go off or not. So it's real important to know that. And I think real quick, because we got a few seconds here before we get to our freestyling, is there's the projectile, which is the actual, the lead and copper jacketed bullet. Well, the bullet is it's all one piece, explaining the components. You have the powder, the primer, the case, and the projectile are the 4 components of the bullet. And to know that and know the terminology of the casing versus the powder versus all that stuff there helps tremendously with your RSO or whoever's coming to help.
Absolutely.
Right?
Got to be aware.
All right.
The more information you can give us, the better we can, the easier it is for us to circumvent the issue, right? If you just come downstairs and say, my gun not working, I don't know what the hell is going on, right? And now I'm stuck trying to figure out what some things. If you say, hey, I pulled the trigger, I heard a bang, but nothing happened, right? So now it's possibly it's a squib blow. So the more information you can give me, the easier I can make resolving this issue is,
Okay. 10-4.
so to speak.